I mean, well, but I didn't even like, I did not believe in AI. Like I was a writer, right? And so I was just like, this thing is here to take jobs. I was reading into all the headlines. I had resigned from my chief marketing officer position. So I was also impacted by not being able to find my next job, job right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
And so having to build something from scratch and then feeling like, okay, I don't know AI. I don't want to know AI because this thing's taking everyone's jobs.
Yeah.
And so, I was still moving at the pace of old school, I guess, and not really knowing how to feel around. And then seeing all these people who I would consider non-AI experts, but they had a brand and a name, and so they started pushing AI stuff on their audience, not knowing what they were doing. And so it
Yeah.
wasn't until I encountered you all, and I mean, you and I was very transparent about, how I was feeling about things and skeptical, and I just your event was a genius because put the AI guy in the hot seat and let's ask questions. And that was so, so cool because that day still, just flipped the script for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people need, right? Is we get a lot of people that when we talk about AI, we get people that are talking at us, right? About it.
Mhm,
And that takes the human experience out of it when people are just talking at us. You need to adopt this technology because you
mhm,
need to do this because, but they're not actually involving us in the actual experience of it. It's just
mhm,
nobody likes to be told what to do, right?
mhm,
Unless they have a personal stake in the game. They really don't like being told what to do or if they have
mhm,
some personal experience of it. And we as a society, especially in I'm talking United States society, we have done a horrible job of including humans in this technological advancement. We've made it more about the technology than the human. And
mhm,
that's the problem with it, really, is we're not connecting those two things together. It's more about the human needs to catch up to the tech, than the tech needs to be a tool to help the human catch up
mhm,
to allowing themselves to breathe. Um,
mhm.
and so what was kind of your aha moment aside from us putting Ryan in the hot seat and telling him like, us all telling him he needs to be answer our questions and, what was kind of the aha moment of, like, your interaction with AI and really the moment that you were like, "Wow, like, there is something that is more than what I had anticipated where it clicks."
Well, so because of that call, I ended up signing up for Manus. And then I had another friend that she was really into AI and she was taking courses. And so I showed her Manus because of that conversation. And the gig that I'm in now, I was started interviewing for it. And so I watched some of Ryan's videos and I made the custom GPTs. I made one for the people that I was interviewing with. I took transcripts from that. And then I also made one that's like an interview, an interviewer general, I guess, for marketing jobs or whatever. And so I just started pressure testing my proposal against those 2, um, GPTs. And the girl that I was talking to, because she was helping me write the contracts and things, she's like, "I've been playing with AI from the beginning." And she's like, "Nothing is as smart as this Manus, like, this is amazing." And so she actually ended up burning through, like, a ton of credits playing with it the
Yeah.
first night that I showed it to her, and built this whole, like, leadership app. And so, I was able to, though, every time I had an interview, I was able to take that information, bring it back to the Chat GPT, and then keep refining the proposal to ultimately land it, right? Because now I have a personality type that I can push up against, and it's challenging me. So I prepared for my interviews. I edited my proposals. And so by the time I got to the third interview, I was very confident in what I was saying and also in what my proposal was bringing to the table. And ultimately I landed the gig and I also then, reviewed back my notes. And so I know what my scope and all of these things were. And there was even one point in the scope she wanted changed. So I was able to easily go back and look at that again, pressure test it, and then refine and then now I've carried that with me into this job because as a marketer, you would spend weeks, months A/B testing something.
Yeah.
Now I can do A/B testing from the onset so that what I'm putting out there is way more effective in that much time. there's always tweaks because you can't get your audience exact, but holy smokes. And the difference
Yeah.
in my team who's not using the custom GPTs that I've built versus what they output and what I output, it's entirely different. And they're like, how are you getting this? And so then now being able to teach my team and replicate that, that was that that was the aha moment. It's changed
Yeah.
my life and my success.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said was really important about, like, being able to replicate, right? Because, like, building those repeatable skills is so important because, like, what I tell people all the time is I use AI for a lot of things, but I don't automate everything, right?
Mhm,
But if it's something that, like, I have to do, it's a repetitive thing that I know I have to do over and over again, and it's something that, like, I know I have to get up every day and do this, but it's something that pretty much is the same thing from point A to point Z every day, then why would I just not automate that? If it's not something that I have to really like, yeah, I might have to proofread it, like you said, you still have to check it, you still have to look at it,
mhm.
but because I'm smart enough as a human to know you don't 100% trust AI, like you just don't.
Yeah.
But like you still can save yourself a lot of time by creating repeatable tasks because why would you want to just do the same thing over and over again every day if you can
Right.
just automate that? But again, if it requires human touch, if it requires human critical thinking, where I have to remove that piece and look at it because it requires human oversight and I need to have enough common sense to know what those pieces are and what are not. And if I don't as a human, then I probably shouldn't be in that position in the first place.
Mhm,
Then, you know, like those are the pieces that don't get automated, right?
mhm,
That's
mhm.
just my
Exactly.
rule. That's my rule. So
Exactly.
that's kind of the litmus test, I guess, is like if it's stuff that just can be repeated over and over again that I really, like sales follow-up emails, those can
Mhm,
be automated.
mhm.
But things where I'm like, I have to like look through applicants to try to hire, that is something I don't feel comfortable automating, you know.
Right. Right.
There's a
Mhm.
difference there. So it's kind of like knowing the litmus test of what needs oversight and what doesn't. Um
Exactly.
What would you say, like, what is your business, or your, like, day-to-day now that you've, done or had some exposure to the AI training or the AI, stuff that we've done? What would you say your day looks like now? Like, what's kind of the after of this now that we've had the AI, introduced into the equation? You're like, "Oh,
So
wow."
yeah. So that's where it's funny is that, it created such ease. And so you're like, oh my God, I can say yes to so much more now. I can do so much more for the people that I serve. The problem is that yes is now, it produces something that's highly effective. And so now you're getting more people that want to work with you. And so it's a yes and a yes and yes. And you feel like you can keep saying yes until now you're overloaded. And so now my AI skills have to catch up with the load. And so fortunately, like I've started to learn Claude. I've been told about some other, new tools that I'm kind of like starting to play with and
Yeah,
meet people who have the time to play more than I do. And luckily they've come into my sphere and they're very generous, just like you all were with their what they know and what they're learning and trying to figure out how to build agents because I was taking those custom GPTs and just saying like, okay, you read this and tell me what you think. Now you read this and tell me think, tweak and go back and forth. But now I'm being told I can make that agentic, and so
yeah,
um, I just have to get my skills to keep up with like what I'm saying yes to and get more and more effective. And so it's awesome. I am overwhelmed at the moment, and I think I've heard every podcaster say like, I work harder than I ever have before with AI because there's almost nothing you have to say no to, but you need to be
yeah,
cautious because there's still the human component is very important,
yeah.
and you can't just automate it all. So you still have a load limit.
100%, and that's so funny you said that because I knew this was gonna happen to people like you and me and Ryan and Jeremy, the ones of us that are, like, total workaholics that, like, now we have a superpower and we're, like, given this tool, and now the people that already say yes to everything and have a hard time saying no, now we're given this thing and we're like, "Oh, great. Now we don't have to say no because this thing doesn't say no." And so now we can just automate and do like this thing can do so much for us. Now we don't have to say
Mhm.
no. And that's the danger is like remember back to the because you're about the same age as me. Remember back to the day when we were carrying around 2 cell phones and we had
Yeah.
a work computer and a home computer, and we were, like,
Mhm.
working 65 hours a week, and we were traveling all the time, and we were doing all that. It's the same thing. It's just
Mhm.
framed differently. And so my thing now is like I have to detox myself. Like I there is like specific time where I'm like I specifically say no to projects cuz I'm just like, look, I don't have time. I have somebody I know that can help you and I might like refer them to somebody because there's plenty of work to go around, but like it's I know exactly what you're talking about because it is so hard to say no when you are literally given a superpower. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I've handled the world before." Back in the day when I had 2 cell phones and I was awake at all hours of the night because I had to answer emails from China and, like, Turkey and Japan in the middle of the night and they, blah, 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 but, like, I was not happy doing that,
Yeah.
so I have to remember to temper myself because I know where that goes for me if I'm not careful. So and I assume you're
Right.
probably similar.
Yeah. Because now it's if you can think it, you can
Yeah.
do it, right? And
Yeah,
so, yeah,
exactly.
be
Now I can
careful.
literally think it into existence, which is scary. Like
Exactly.
like I have powers. Like this is not good for someone like me.
Yes,
So,
yes.
that being some advice, what advice would you give someone about attending like a mastermind or classes or something like what we do? What would you tell someone about doing something like this that might be on the fence about it? Like, what would you tell them?
Oh, just do it. Like, I have,
Yeah.
the good fortune I said I've met a lot of people here, and so now I one of them offered to do AI workshops for my team, and I made it optional for the team,
Yep.
but, and the ones who aren't taking advantage of it, you're gonna be left behind, and anyone who thinks that AI is here to replace them or is opting out and say, "I'll figure it out later," you're missing the boat, and you're missing the opportunity to really level up your skills, be the very best at what you do, and use this technology to make it shine. As you just said, it's a superpower. And I was not on that bandwagon at all until I met Ryan and Emily. So
Yeah.
um if you and Ryan and Emily are phenomenal because it that truly y'all are human first AI. And that was the first encounter I had with somebody who was thinking of it like that. And again, I'm going back to that hot seat conversation. That's what I challenged Ryan on, and he had great answers that made a lot of sense every single time. He stayed in touch with me. He, generously shared and followed up on things that I had questions about, and now here I am today, and total game changer, like, so if there's no 2 better people to learn from.
That's I appreciate that so much, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're awesome, and I adore you, and I'm so excited, like, when we get this started and like, it is for sure happening on July 1st, and come hell or high water, I will hold Ryan to the fire on this because it better because I have spent a ton on marketing to get this thing off the ground, so,
Yeah.
yes, we are doing it on July 1st. It's gonna be really cool, with all the different modules. So also the cool thing about it is it transfers into HRCI credits. So
Wow.
it's 30 HRCI credits for 200 bucks, which is like yeah. So can't go wrong there for the AI program. But yeah, I really appreciate you doing this. And
Of course.
I will
Anything for you
email you
guys.
well, I appreciate it. And I will email you here shortly because I want to get your address to send you the book and the information about the program and yeah, just let us know if you need anything, and I'm really excited to get you going, get you more info so you can really automate the hell out of everything, and you'll just be sitting there like this.
On the beach. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, on the beach with a sex on the beach, just like, look at that thing just go. Look at it go. Look at it code.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. That would
Right?
be so
We all
amazing.
need that. But, well, my
Yeah.
dear, have a wonderful weekend, and if you need anything in the meantime, let me know.
Alright, you too, Emily.
So
Thank you so much for
all
staying in
right, take
touch.
care. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.